Welcome to Morning Glory Farmstead. My name is Lolly, and this channel is all about gardening, animals, and nature. Okay, in today's video, I'm going to show you what happened with the run, show you what my thought process is for next steps, and then I'm going to backtrack and give you some beautiful footage to watch of the before and during the storm. Okay, so today's plan was just to continue on with the progress in this new run, which is really for the bantam chickens, but I do have larger chicken breeds as well that are going to go in here until they're full grown. So I have 15 chicks right now that need to come in this area. So again, the plan was to continue with the progress. So I was going to cut the zip ties that are sticking out everywhere, get these landscape pins in the bottom, and hey, y'all didn't see this, but the other day, 2 of the chicks got out on the opposite side from where I am now into the big chicken run, and it took me forever. It was like 100 degrees. I was chasing them all over the place. Finally got them cornered and got them back in. But they were able to slide right up under this fencing because it wasn't locked down at the bottom. So today I'm going to at least start that process, get a few of these landscape pins in, and see how far I get. However, while I was doing this, Pops called and let me know that he got some stuff running across his screen about a severe thunderstorm warning and that I needed to hurry up whatever I was doing. And so when he said that, I thought, well, there's some other things that I need to take care of too if it's really going to get that bad, because they were talking about tornado watches for several hours and things like that. So not only did I need to be concerned with this area, but even more so where the chickens were on the other side. So I ran over to the bigger chicken area to start working on the run. There were a couple tarps I wanted to get a little bit more secure if it was really going to be a ton of rain and wind. And then also the new smaller chicken run that I built just for some extra shade and things like that. And it's going to be an extra place to go during the winter. I hadn't put the stakes in that yet. And so I really needed to get to that as well. So I cut this area short and ran over to the other side to get busy on that. And y'all, it was hot and humid, and just a perfect environment for the storm. Now, initially, I wasn't too worried about the fact that I had already put the tarp up in this area. Y'all know in the other video, I said I was about 3 or 4 T-posts short. I still needed to get the tarp up in the middle so that the water would run off if a storm came through. But y'all, we have had a chance of severe thunderstorms for weeks, and hardly any of them have come to fruition. It'll say 51% chance, and it'll get really dark, it'll get windy, it's hot and humid, and then we don't get a drop of rain. In fact, my ground was cracking so bad, I thought that there was going to be some kind of sinkhole or something going on, and then I started seeing other homesteaders talk about how their ground was cracking from the heat and showing it and all of that. But I had just never seen that here before, just huge cracks in the dirt. You know, I have that red clay, so it's really easy to see. But I just wasn't too worried about it. I thought, well, this will probably just go right by too without a bunch of rain, even though I'd love to have the rain because that means I don't have to water the plants. It does it for me. But just in case, I went ahead, since they were talking about the tornado watches, and put these stakes in. Now, I put the stakes in that came with it, but y'all, honestly, they're too small. They wouldn't do a thing out here with the winds that I have. So I'm also putting the big stakes around. I only found 8, and so I'm putting 4 on this. And then I'm going to do a couple stakes on the 2 coops that are just kind of sitting out because there are chickens in there right now. And although they've never fallen over, if we get some straight winds that are 70 to 80 miles per hour or something, I wouldn't want something to happen to one of those chickens. So gonna go ahead and take care of that too. And those coops are wide open right now because it is so hot. Y'all, these coops are excellent. I've used them for years. They do have good ventilation, but the heat is abnormal. We're having extreme cold and extreme heat, and so as good as the coops are, you still got to use some common sense and open things up to give them a little more ventilation. They can only cool themselves off to a certain point. So while I was doing all of this, even though I've sped up this footage, it took me a while, and I didn't get back to take off one of the zip ties on the new Chickenrun so that the water would run off of the tarp, and it started pouring rain, and I thought, well, we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. So as I stood here and watched this tarp fill up with water, I already knew what was going to happen. The T-posts are going to start leaning. The holes would be way too big now. And we spent all that time hammering and hammering because, y'all, they didn't have any T-post drivers or anything to rent. It didn't matter how far out I went with the dates. It showed nothing available anywhere. So we had to do this by hand because I wasn't about to spend $2,000 on one to have our own. But I knew that this was not something that I wanted to have to worry about with every storm. And I thought, you know, even if I have the middle up, it's going to be better. But eventually, if the storm hits it just right, it still could probably parachute up out of the ground. Well, I was trying to show everybody that you were looking out the window. Yeah, watching the storm. Oh, pretty girl. Pretty girl. Yeah, pretty girl. So my wheels started turning as far as what could I do to offer a little more shelter out there without a structure at this time, because I'm trying to think of what supplies I already have, what tools I have, what can I make that's not going to be super expensive. I cannot believe that this tarp has not ripped yet. We got a heavy duty one. It was pretty expensive, and I just can't believe that as much as the T-post bent in, one of them was bent at the bottom. And this is several gallons, I don't know, 20. I can't believe that that tarp didn't break. So this is definitely going to come down. I'm going to go ahead and dump this. And I have plenty of uses for tarps, so that's definitely not going to waste. But I need to figure out another structure and one that's going to make it through the winter as well, and that's not going to have a draft anyway. So we'll just go back to square one a little bit and rethink it. Now I had to cut this zip tie. It was one of the really heavy, thick ones. And there was no way I could lift that up off the T-post, so I had to cut it. Y'all, that was a lot of water. It made me wish I had a rain barrel system, y'all. I mean, just thousands and thousands of gallons come off my house and the shop roof alone. And I thought, man, I hate to waste it. Look how big that hole got, and look how easily this post comes right out. That is definitely not going to work. So Pops came over. Thank goodness. He's going to help me fold this up and get this out of here. We'll just use it for something else. But y'all, look at this. I started thinking about where can I go to get some free wood, just scrap wood, but things that I could use to put something together. I did some research, and this day I got 5 loads in my pretend truck. Now that's some vinyl. These are spacers of different sizes, some bigger ones and some smaller ones, but they're solid wood. So you just never know until you ask. You know, people use a lot of wood at their businesses for certain things, and then they don't need it anymore, and they just take it to the dump, throw it all away. Now these are some fence posts that do have some splits on one end, and I could either cut that off or put some kind of glue or something in there. I got some pallets. Here's another load of fence posts that I got that are not perfect. If you're willing to work with some things and tailor some things, You can do all kind of stuff. And under these, I actually have some short 2 or 3 foot pieces as well that I can use for a lot. This run, I got some more pallets, some things for dust baths for my chickens and all sorts of stuff. But anyway, so my next step is going to be to build something. I just need to get some hardware and then I can get going. It's a happy accident because that tarp would not have met all the needs throughout the whole winter anyway. And even though I'm not going to have coverage for myself, the main concern is that the chickens are going to have a dry and draft-free place to go when it gets down to -8, -10, or whatever we happen to have. All right, so I'm going to leave you now with some beautiful footage of this storm coming in, and then also when it's raining, and it's very peaceful. I hope that you all enjoy this. Y'all need to go in the run. It's storming. You got to get out of here. Go take cover somewhere. Okay? Y'all got to be safe. So thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you real soon in the next video. And until then, y'all have a great couple of days. Bye-bye.